The vice president is to be the expert of the AS Constitution. Have you read it? If so, please demonstrate by summarizing your knowledge of it. Starting with Shannon.
I have. I knew this question was coming. Ever since Cameron asked me to consider being his VP in November, he gave me a copy of the Constitution and bylaws. And so I have been looking over it. Definitely, if we are elected, I will spend a much deeper time in study, of course. But I definitely have been, and it's important, and I know that it is. I'm familiar with the procedure as far as what it looks like with hiring, with the ELT and how that's structured as well. The mission statement of AS as far as giving ear to the student voice, representing them to the administration, and putting on events to foster a Christ in our community. But I am familiar with it, and I will continue to be so.
Could you summarize it?
Summarize the Constitution?
Briefly.
The Constitution has, it's got just the structure of AS as far as the listings of jobs and responsibilities, as well as what must happen as far as meetings and things like that.
Justin.
Well, this could be kind of cheating because you give a little bit of good advice as well. I think to continue on that, I think Cami Crest did a great job at upholding her position as a vice president. Eric did a great job as a president, and so I could even just give attributes that they did, but to give a great example, I'll just say the president has a job to be the liaison between the vice president and the senators and the administration as well. Between those two, the vice president's job is to be oversee the Senate. There could be a whole hour debate on this whole conversation, but those are some examples of just position-wise. AS is an organization made by the students, for the students, and it is, it's a great question, by the way. It could totally be more and more. But it's made by the students, for the students, a student-owned organization where the student fee is put into contingency to be allocated by the ELT for the vice president to use and to oversee the Senate in that case, for the accounting, vice president of accounting. The Constitution is there to exist so that students know where to go to on specific ideas and laws of what AS stands for.
Starting with you, Justin, what is one way you see yourself complimenting your president?
That's a little easier question. Mark is a great guy. He is a great leader, I think. He is a little more quiet than I am. I'm a little more outspoken. And I think in that case, we can both compliment each other. And he has great ideas he throws at me. I can communicate that to the people that I represent. Mark has had extensive, the chance to work in the services, and I worked in the Senate, so we both have different aspects of AS service. In those ways, I think those are the only. There's a lot more, but I'm trying to think of those pretty good, two specific ones.
Shannon?
Yeah. Cameron and I were friends before this whole journey started, so just basing our administration off of a friendship, I think would work well for AS as a whole. I'm from SMU. I currently work in SMU, and throughout our campaign, we've wanted to stress the fact that I have an outside view of AS and an understanding of just what AS even looks like to an outside student. Throughout our campaign, we've been sort of talking about things and saying, Cam, the Shannon Tierney's of Biola either won't, know what that means, or, just won't understand that, or Cameron will say, the Cameron Spencers of Biola want to hear something like this, and we need to remember that. So just having two very different viewpoints, but knowing how to work well with each other as far as healthy discussion and debate. We've had disagreements. Cameron has great experience in the Senate and has proven to be successful. I've been successful at my job in SMU, so just a track record of success, along with a desire to have fun and succeed in AS in multiple different settings.
If the president had to vacate office for a number of reasons, you would replace them. Do you feel able to do this, starting with Sharon?
I would hope it wouldn't happen on the first day, of course. I'm confident in that, and I know as far as job description, that is a possibility, whether it's Cameron's choice or not. I would hope to definitely have a little bit of time to observe a little bit more as to how Cameron would want the presidency to be run, and I think Eric and Cami have done a great job this year of sort of leadership as a team. But I'm confident in my ability, and hopefully if that were to happen, I would have time to learn a little bit more. I feel like I've learned a lot from Cami and observing her in Senate meetings. So definitely with time, for sure.
Justin?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest things about Mark and I is that there was a specific calling toward each other when it came to God bringing us together in one purpose. Before he even asked me to be on his team, he said, "What is your vision for AS?" And we both had the same exact vision of making AS a ministry, not simply just an in-person organization that makes executive decisions without the input of students. So in that case, we had the same passions, we had the same ideas, we had the same purpose, and being able to see what a leader he's already been, just as a campaign running partner, I think we have the same gift of leadership as well. Just being able to watch those attributes, it would be not too hard to step up to that role, as well as watching Eric's role as a president this year too.
One of the primary responsibilities of a vice president is to kind of keep the senators accountable at doing their job. How would you go about doing this, starting with Justin?
That's a good question. Obviously, there is once a week where the vice president needs to speak with each of the senators on how they're doing with walkarounds and stuff like that. How their heart's doing. It should be more geared toward building rapport as well as keeping accountability. There's always emails sent out with these kind of things and making sure that people are doing their job. Personally, I want to also be able to build a rapport, which is something I'm gifted at, just communication-wise, with my senators, and having that as a bridge for them to be open along with me, to tell things that maybe they're struggling with that I can pray for them for, or maybe things that they might have not done exactly the way that they should have that I can possibly help them improve on. But I think a way to just encourage that is it's through the internal structure of how the VP relates to her or his senators. And I just want to continue to focus on leadership as well, to encourage that servant leadership. It starts from the head down. It starts from Mark and I being those leaders, being those examples, and when people see that example that we're setting forth, it won't be as hard to keep them accountable.
Shannon?
Yeah, the one-on-ones I feel like is the best way to accomplish that. And in my own observation, I have one-on-ones now in my job, and when I'm having a hard time with either work at SMU or schoolwork, it's because there's something else going on. And so I would want to use that space to ask the senator, how are you doing? Is something wrong? Are there problems at home? Things like that. But hopefully walking them through just their spiritual journey, their growing up and being 20-something-year-old people, and encouraging them to grow as a senator as well as just their person in Christ. Because I think those things go hand in hand, but there will probably be times when I would have to come down with an iron fist, and I'm not afraid of doing that. I would hope to solve those problems before it came to that point, through just constant dialogue and communication, prayer, and working as a team.